Hey guys, it's Daydreams. Welcome back to another Clash of Kings video. It's the troop training event. It's the day before the kill event. You know that we're going for 3 in a row strongest lords. We're not playing around. We're going to kill every Chinese in the kingdom. Every trader in the kingdom is going to get skilled and hit. We just took down a 5 million power 26 with 5 skill hits last night. That video is going to be on Bowsy's channel tonight. He's editing it now. Make sure you guys go check that out. I appreciate all of you entering the contest. I'm adding all that up. We will choose the winner this Friday. So make sure you get your alliance to enter the contest. All you got to do is subscribe on my channel, Bowsy's channel, leave a comment in both of our videos. My video is already up for that contest. Bowsy's video will be up today. He is recording it now. But yeah, guys, I went ahead and I spent about 15 minutes finding the best dragon glass that I can for the troop training, and I found this. I believe it's 8%. Yeah, 8% infantry training speed. So we are going to hammer out a lot of those berserkers. And while I do this, I'm going to show you guys troop composition for your 22 castles, for your 19 castles, and for your 16 castles. Depending on what level you're on, I'll show you the troop compositions to win your guys' kill events in your kingdoms. So we're going to go ahead and speed up as many of these berserkers as we can. You know, I'm all about the front line. Frontline infantry, frontline cavalry are the most important units in this game. You can never have enough of them. These swordsmen, they are your meat shields. What would you rather lose? Would you rather lose 5,000 berserker, or would you rather lose 10,000 knights, archers, and trebuchet? So they are going to save you a lot of troops, especially the T7 guard all the way up until your level 30 castle. You're going to need as many of those as possible. So do not skimp on the guards. Just because they die, they're supposed to die. That's what they do. They're the meat shield. So make sure everyone's sending them in the rallies, or else the person who does send them will take up the losses. And if you do not send them, your spearmen are then the new front line, and they will die very, very easily without the frontline swordsmen, which are right here. The T7 guard, T10 berserker, T6 and T4 swords, the noble swordsman, and then the regular swordsman here. These are your front line. You're going to want to have about 10 to 12% frontline swordsmen. So if you are a 22 castle, you're going to have about 12,000, about 10,000 T7 guard if you're 22 castle. If you're 19 castle, same thing, about 8,000 guard. If you're only a 16 castle, you're going to use these T6 noble swordsmen. And if you are lower than a 16 castle, you need to get to 16 immediately, make some farms, expand, get to 16 so that you can make the noble swordsman. They're not bad. But 19 is probably like the middle range, most important castle, because you get the T7 guard and they are a big jump, as you can see. A lot more defense, a lot more health. They are really, really important. So that's what you're going to have as your front line for 22. And then behind that, you're going to have the heavy pikemen right here. They have a high attack. They have a low defense and low health. So you need the meat shield in front of them. You need them T7 guard. But you're going to use these pikemen. You're going to use around 10,000 of those as well. That's what's behind the guard. So your there goes swordsman, pikeman, and then next you're going to use cavalry in your lair, and you're going to have about 15,000 Royal Knight right here, a T8 Royal Knight. High attack, high defense. They're the most well-rounded troop in the game. The Knight, which are the T10, T8, and T6 Knight. They are they're the most well-rounded troops in the game. And then behind the Knight, you're going to have around, okay, if this is a castle attack, you're going to have around 4,000 to 5,000 of these T7 cavalry archer. But if it's on a resource tile, you're going to want to have around 15,000 of these cavalry archer. They have a bonus if you look in their unique abilities. It'll say resource battle bonus. They have a huge resource battle bonus. If you can get the 26 castle, the strike archer are the strongest unit on resource tiles. You cannot lose if you have a lot of those. So, you know, if you do not have the T8 Royal Knight and you're sitting at 19 castle, you're going to use around 7,000 to 8,000 of the T6 Knights Templar. You just got to make do. It's plug and play. There's 8 troop types, and you're just going to plug and play. They all have different pictures. They all have different stats, but they are the same troops. The T5 Cavalry Shooter, if you're a level 16 castle, you're going to use around 5,000 of those in your lair for your Cavalry Archer. And if you're on Resource Tile, you're going to want around 10,000 Cavalry Shooter. That's only if you're in a newer kingdom and your castle isn't to 16 yet. So that's it as far as the horses go. And then Archer, I'm not a big fan of Archer, but you still need some in your lair. And you still want to work on your science and everything for Archer. I just don't put any skills into Archer. I do not put any equipment into Archer if I can help it. But if you are a level 22 castle, you're going to use around 6,000 to 7,000 T8 Eagle Archer. They are actually a defensive archer. They're a defensive unit that counters pikemen and halberdier, but you still want a few in your offensive layer as well. If you're ever defending someone, you're going to send like some of those. They're good for defense, but you still want a few in your attacking there. But the T7 crossbow, if you're at level 19 or 22, you're going to use around the same thing. 7 to 8 heavy crossbow. They got a high attack. They're a pretty decent troop. As far as archers go, until you get the T9 Windless Man, they're the best archer in the game, in my opinion. But if you're only a level 16 castle, you can plug these T6 Eagle Archer in for, well, they're the same as the Eagle Archer. They're just a little weaker. They're called the Archer Guard. Instead of a T8 Eagle Archer, you'll use around 5,000 T6 Archer Guard. And if you are only a 16 castle, instead of the heavy crossbowman here, you're going to use Arbalest right there. So it's the same thing as a crossbowman. They're just a little bit weaker. And until you get the heavy crossbowman, that's what you're going to use. You know, around 4,000 to 5,000 of them, guys. Just do the math on the layering, and you just plug and play. They plug and play. It's really simple. Okay, as far as siege goes, it gets a little tricky and a little controversial. I personally only use the trebuchet line, which are the T10, T8, T7, and even the T5 mangonel. Those are the same as a trebuchet. But if you're at T8, these heavy trebuchet are monsters. 118 attack. Look at that, guys. It's 118 attack. They have a high attack on castles. They get a bonus attack against castles. But on resource tiles, they are not quite as strong, but you can still use them. They're still pretty good troop. I use around 25,000 of those is what you want to use in your if you got a 22 castle with the 22 drill grounds, you're going to use around 20,000 of these trebuchet. Same if you're a 19 castle, use around 20,000. Even if your drill grounds is a little smaller, these things are still monsters. 98 attack. I mean, look at that. The health isn't bad on these things. They're pretty good. The defense isn't bad on them. Honestly, I think the defense is, they work better in defense for me than the Rams, which are the Demolisher, the T4 battering ram. Those are a defensive troop. They do something. I haven't quite figured it out yet. The T9 siege towers are pretty good, but other than that, the Rams are only good for gathering, in my opinions. If you're only at a 16 castle, don't train a lot of Demolisher. You know, make maybe 10,000 of them. Keep training these heavy mangonel. They're pretty good. You can mix them in your there. They still have 64 attack. They're a really good troop. I still have some of them. After all these months, I have 32,000 left. They just don't die. The trebuchet, if you layer properly and you're playing properly, your trebuchet, your mangonels should not die that often. If you are layering correctly, your swordsmen and maybe a few pikemen and horses might die, but your archers and steeds should never really get touched. That's why I still have a pretty good amount of them. But that's pretty much it on the troop composition, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get back to this troop training. I'm not going to bore you sitting here with all this troop training, so I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and when I come back, I hope that I can